Welcome everyone to Miss Valley Gaming. My name is Dread. We are taking a first look, and perhaps a longer than first look, we'll see. But a first look at a game that is new to me. I have not played this before, or seen it played. This is called D&D Adventures Rogue's Choice. Now, this game was put out by Cold Coffee Studios and Delight Games, and it came out on Steam October 10th of 1922. Just kidding. 2022, actually. That would be pretty funny if it was that old, because before the internet and, 1922. Come on. 29, 22? Maybe it's a cyberpunk game. No, it's D&D Adventures Rogue's Choice. So, what did I do so far? I've turned the music off, because that's what we do here on YouTube. Because apparently YouTube hates music. All right, so it says, welcome players. You are about to enter a new kind of story. As the hero of your own adventure, you decide where the journey goes. It's all about the choices. I love choices in games. I really do. Select the first chapter on the right, which I'm guessing is over here, and follow your fate. Your progress is constantly saved automatically. Good fortune, adventurer. Or first chapter is right here, actually. This is just a weird picture. Right here. Got at least 6 chapters, it looks like. Let's go. Let's get into it. Let's go. Summary. You play a rogue in a medieval fantasy world. So far, so good. This is the first short chapter. Content warning, minds mild sexual innuendo. I have no idea what that even means. Shut up, Trent. Shut up, Trent. I really don't. Don't listen to Trent. I have no idea what those words mean. Alcohol. Huh. Implied violence. Implied violence. Oh. And also content warning. It's by Sand Landstrom. I don't know why we need to be worried about that, but okay, let's start. Best score was in this game is by someone called Never Completed. Let's jump into this. Or slide into it, mosey into it, maybe. All the consequences are the results of your choices. Cool. Starting note, you're about to immerse yourself in a massive and dangerous adventure. Oh no! Read, scroll, and make choices, but that's it. Your progress is automatically bookmarked, but take care. If you die, you will have to restart the current chapter. Wait, if I die or my character dies? Because if I die, how do I restart? Feel free to use the 2 option panels to adapt the game to your needs. Font size, screen luminosity. Good luck. What do we got over here? Resources. We've got, that's like, looks like health, money, happiness, or sanity, or brain stuff, and religion or prayer? I don't know. By Sand Landstrom. Yeah, we know this stuff already. Begin. Yep. Let's do it. Gods, the Duke's men are greedy, you think. Hopefully you're done paying bribes for the day. The guards demanded all your money, and then all your weapons in return for letting you through the gate. You're glad they didn't discover your hidden coin purse and dagger. Well, at least they can be bought, you think. You understand men like that. Men like that will keep their mouths shut if anyone comes sniffing around for deserters from Lord Wallington's army. Tales you have heard of Ring City are true. Columns here. It is massive and alive. Street vendors everywhere. Horses and wagons charging through the crowds. Shouting, laughing. Damn those laughing horses and those shouting wagons. Oh, well, those kids, get off my lawn, kids. Oh, I digress. The smell of horse manure, and worse, fills the air. Despite the stench, you smile when you see the sign for the Green Dragon Inn. The painting of the dragon and the letters underneath are so worn they can barely be made out, but still you smile. Is this us? I guess it is. A drink at last, you think, as you enter the inn. How the hell are you getting a drink? You don't have any money. It's only afternoon, yet there are customers scattered about the large hall. The fire is unlit on the hearth, if you prefer to pronounce it that way. I don't. And the air is cool, or just cool if you like to pronounce that. I like to pronounce it cool. No, I don't. I'm kidding. The barkeep wipes a glass as he watches over a trio of men playing cards at a nearby table, their skin grimy and their hair unkempt. Men from the silver mines, you think. I could sell them a comb and some facial products. A serving wench wearing a stained apron, ew, walks past the miners, balancing a tray with tall mugs of ale and what looks like hunks of cheese. One of the miners casually swipes at her rump, but misses. There are people at several other tables. An attractive pair of richly dressed young women catches your eye. Maybe it's actually the large golden bracelets around the delicate arm of one that catches your attention. The women lean into each other, chatting merrily. There's an unopened bottle of wine and a pair of empty wine glasses between them. I do apologize. It looks like there's going to be a lot of reading. Hopefully my voice holds up. The musician's stage, empty of performers, is currently being used for additional seating with one table set in the middle. At this table, a muscular soldier sits across from a woman with long black hair that spills out the hood of her billowing cloak. He's not in armor, but his sheathed sword leans against his left leg at the ready. From the insignia on his tunic, you know him as one of the Duke's men. The woman is pretty, maybe even beautiful, although her expression is severe as she glares at the soldier, and you're not sure you'd like those intense eyes measuring you. Suspicious. A mangy dog makes the rounds between tables, looking for scraps or a scratch. The soldier looks over at you, a smile lingering on his face from his conversation. Your stomach clenches. You do not want to appear afraid, but you also do not want to attract attention. After all, you're a deserter. What do you do? Nod at him in greeting. I will not appear afraid, you think. You nod at the soldier. His eyes widen slightly, as though only now noticing you. He does not nod back. Rather, he holds your gaze for a tense moment. You turn your attention away from him to the bar straight ahead and take what you hope is a confident step forward. Concentrating on the aroma of cooking meat, you do your best to smile. Certainly he will mind his comely companion over me, you reassure yourself. You risk a glance back at the soldier. Thankfully, you are right. His attention is back to the cloaked woman, and they are speaking quietly. I feel like I already made the wrong decision. Oh my god, we're gonna die. As you stride further into the inn, you again consider your situation. You're low on gold, and in a city like this one, that's a very bad thing. If you don't want to be sleeping out in the street tonight, you're going to need to make some coin. Far worse than sleeping in the gutter, however, is missing your payment. 10 gold pieces by sundown tonight, or I may as well slit my own throat, you think. 10 gold by sundown tonight, and another payment every new moon until your debt is paid. That was the arrangement with House Ruta here. Not that you had a choice. There's no way to make that kind of coin in the next few hours in any honest way. You walk up to the table of miners. May I join you? One of the miners, a blond man with gray in his beard, looks up at you. Of course, boy. And bring your mother so she can sit on my lap as you suckle her teat. Burn! One of the other three laughs, his filthy beard dropping crumbs onto the table. Third miner just stares at his cards, his eyes half glazed, seemingly oblivious. This game of cards may require an upfront investment. You could buy them a round of drinks to buy in at the table while increasing your opponent's intoxication, or you could simply ask to join them. What do you do? We're going to spend the gold to buy them a round of drinks. What kind of drink will you buy? They're drinking ale right now. You could give them another round of that, or you could spend a little more and buy a round of the harder stuff. What do you do? I think if we push it too hard, we're too suspicious. Let's buy them some ale for 1 gold. Another round for these men, you shout to the barkeep, perhaps with a bit more bravado than you intended. The barkeep nods, taps the top of the bar with his finger. You stride over and slap a coin down. Barkeep smiles a gapped and broken smile. He has a large scar down his throat. At least the little lamb has manners, says the blonde miner with a chuckle. Good, slurs the glassy-eyed miner. I had enough paying for my own watered-down piss they call ale around here. Respect for elders, a rare thing, says a blonde miner. Have a seat. We're ready to deal again. You take your seat. These three are already pretty well drunk, and a steady stream of ale will hopefully keep them this way. May not even have to cheat, you think. We're a cheater. Nice. Our gold increases by 6, and our morale increases by 1. You sip your mead slowly. Nevertheless, you start to feel your thoughts begin to thicken, and so you accidentally spill the remainder of your drink across the table. The glassy-eyed miner does not notice, but the other two curse at you as they pull their cards off the table. Young and clumsy, says a blonde miner, whom you now know as Lendar. Pointing at your overturned mug, he slurs, respect. Respect every drop. These men aren't quite as drunk as you initially thought. Nevertheless, they are relaxed enough to make them easy to read. Lendar taps his fingers on the table when he has a good hand. Bent hums softly to himself when he has a strong hand. Turway, the glassy-eyed one, and certainly the drunkest of the trio, turns out to be the hardest to read. His expression never changes, no doubt because he is about to pass out. Aside from the drinks, you've been ordering bread and cheese for yourself to soak up the alcohol and keep your head clear. The barkeep and the serving wench seem pleased that someone is ordering food for a change. The barkeep keeps close to your table more often than the others. That's hard to say. Watching with his gapped teeth, evidently you're the big spender in the room. You have done well so far, but it occurs to you that you could probably take quite a bit more with the aid of some sleight of hand. You have a high card that stays tucked in your sleeve. When you were in your lord's army, you used it for card tricks. Something to while away time and entertain. However, when the mark is easy, you do. Cheat for a little while. Let's try it. Gold increases 10. You play straight when you're confident you'll win a hand, but when the odds seem closer to even, you definitely swap a card for your high card. As fast as you are with your hands making the switch, it really comes down to the distraction. One time you pound the table at a joke. Another time you make a show of feeding a hunk of cheese to the barkeep's dog named Griffin. Another time you suggestively stroke the serving wench's arm as she is taking an order at your table. This earns your hand a sharp slap from her and guffaws from the miners. You let a few of the low-stakes hands go, but for the most part you clean up. Gold decreases 12 and morale increases 1. Went down. What happened? Tykes, the god of luck, favors you this morn, says a serving wench as she takes a mug of ale off her tray and sets it in front of you. I hope you be sharing a bit of your spoils with your hard-working servants. She smiles sweetly and points back at the barkeep. Of course, you say, taking a moment to raise your eyebrows at the miners. You turn back to her and slip a gold coin into her hand. And I'll be happy to provide you with even more compensation once your evening here is through. You give her an appreciative once-over, a few chuckles from the miners. She smiles and leans down, her bosom nearly brushing the table. Her ruby lips are near your ear, and a delightful shiver goes up your spine. We've seen you cheat, she whispers. You'll be giving us all your ill-gotten gains, or... She draws away, and now you notice the hardness of her eyes over that inviting smile. Fool I am, you think. It's easy enough to deceive the drunk miners, but you forgot what attention they were getting from the inn staff. If they reveal me... You force a bright smile at the muscled miners, and then up at Emmeline. You continue standing there until you realize she wants the money now. You wish you were more discreet about blackmailing you, but you'll be in even more danger if you risk her brazen tongue by arguing. You pinch her cheek a touch too hard as you say, The wheel of fate has treated me well, but now it turns for you and your master. As you slide your pile of coins towards her, Emmeline's ruby smile grows huge, revealing a few chipped teeth and one that is crooked. She puts her tray under the lip of the table, and you push the coins onto it with a jingling clatter. Lendar spits ale. Neville's tongue, boy! What did that woman promise with her whispered words? You stand up. The obvious reply would be to claim that she'll be granting her favors later. But you don't want to provoke her, so you straighten your spine and announce in a voice meant for the entire inn, "Can a man not be generous? What are a few dozen gold coins beside the infinite multiverse anyway? Not everything is an exchange. Sometimes a gift is only a gift. Like when the god Pentalant gave the goddess Alathea the gift of speaking quails on the mountain of "Hear, hear," shouts Brahm the barkeep, cutting off the speech you were just beginning to enjoy. He raises a mug from behind the bar. Here's to generosity and quitting before your luck has leaked out. Huzzah! You shout with several others. Drain your mug and slam it down on the table. Men, I have done what good I can here. Best I leave now before I take all your silver. The miners jeer at you, obviously disappointed that the pup is walking away after distributing their hard-earned coin to the inn staff. Would have gone to the inn anyhow, but the miners didn't have the drink to show for it now. Evidently, neither Emmeline nor the barkeep noticed you pocketing some of your coins as you drank and played cards. They got most of your coin, but not all. So what? We got 9 coins and we need 100? Is that what it is? Yikes. The inn patrons have changed since you pulled up a seat for the card game. It's a pair of dwarves up at the bar now. Judging by their grubby skin, they're also employed by the local silver mining guild. You take note that they're ignoring the human miners. You're not surprised. Dwarves and humans get along well enough, but dwarves are never exactly friendly in your experience. They are known to be suspicious of strangers. Nevertheless, they might make a rich mark. Dwarves love gold. The 2 pretty women are still at the table. They're laughing more freely now, and the motions of their hands as they talk are more relaxed. You notice wedding bands on them both. The wine is low in the bottle between them. You could talk to them. Might even be able to pick a pocket if an opportunity presents itself. The cloaked woman is still at the other table, but thankfully the soldier in the tunic is gone. Her long black hair covers much of her face, but you can see her scowling lips pointed down at the table. Point with your lips. I don't know. You wonder if she's still nursing that same glass of ale. Maybe you shouldn't risk her, but there are a lot of pockets in that cloak. She might have something valuable in all those folds. She's not a mark for me, you think. She was in the company of one of the Duke's soldiers. Besides, you haven't been in the city long enough to yet know who is safe to steal from. You'll need more than gold to make it in this city. You'll need knowledge, too. You decide to start with the dwarves. If nothing else, dwarves live a very long time, so this pair might know a thing or two about the city and its surroundings, if they'll speak to you. You're a pace away before the dwarf nearest you turns and narrows his large dark eyes at you. What would you be wanting? He says in a loud, gruff voice. Suspicious creatures, you think. It's like he can smell your intention. You stammer, was just going to offer to buy you a mug. His beard twitches. What for? He shouts. Because I am so pretty? Ha! Shouts the other dwarf, slapping the bar. Every time the nose hair charms them. Oh, never mind then, you say. No, says the first dwarf. By all means, you may buy me a drink. By Bondor's belt, you can buy this one. He raises his mug. I already paid the man, so you may pay me now. You want me to pay you a coin? Is that not the same thing at the end of it all, he asks. His beard is twitching rhythmically. You wonder if this is some sort of silent dwarven laugh. It is just that I am new in this city. Oh, that is plain, says the dwarf, cutting you off. Ha! Shouts the other dwarf, again slapping the table. I'd like to speak to some dwarves of wisdom, you say. A conversation. Oh, well, if a young human wants to chat our ear off, only the top barrel slog will do, says the dwarf. Only the best ale will make listening to that bearable, agrees the other dwarf. Barkeep approaches. What will it be? Greedy dwarves, you think. They want you to buy the best ale in the house. What do you do? Sure, buy the best. What the hell? Our goal has gone down 3. The barkeep flashes his broken tooth smile when you tell him your order. Dwarves bow and introduce themselves as Thalmor, the more talkative and abusive of the pair, and Joram, or Rum. Both beards shake rhythmically as the mugs are placed before them. Thalmor and Rum. We'll go with that. So what is it that you want to know? Asks Thalmor. Closes his eyes as he sips from his mug. I am new to the city, you say. What advice do you have for me? Man who pays for advice, says Thalmor. Not the worst sort of human, I suppose. Not the worst sort, not by any length, rejoins Rum. Let us start with this city's name, says Thalmor. Do you know why they call it Ring City? Because of the circular walls, one inside the other, like the rings of a tree stump, you say. Right, says Thalmor. 3 rings of walls will make 3 very different parts of the city. The inner ring was the first wall built. Back then it was only a town. Called Hell's Gate back then, says Rum. It was well named, always under threat by the brutal giants of Landes who lived in the nearby mountains, says Thalmor. You can understand why the humans needed a high wall. Anyways, as the city grew, a new wall eventually had to be built to contain her people. 3 walls so far, and there will be more in the centuries to come. We keep finding silver, she will grow, says Rum. The point is not the history lesson. The point is that those rings, the outer, the middle, and the inner, make up very different, what do you humans call it? Social strata, says Rum. Sure, well, different neighborhoods, says Thalmor. The inner ring at the center of the city is for the duke, the nobility, and their servants. Where we are now, the middle ring is where well-to-do commoners live. Makes the question of how you got in here, says Rum. One does not just walk through the wall gates. Rum and I, and even those filthy miners you're playing cards with, are all a bit more than mere miners within the guild. We dwarves are specialists. We tell them where to dig, and those men you're playing cards with supervise other men, believe it or not, says Thalmor, his eyebrows raised at you. Thought I was paying for advice, not to answer questions about my business, you say. Thalmor's beard shakes rhythmically. Laughing? This all circles around to my main ingot of advice, says Thalmor. You know what that is? You shake your head. Do not get yourself killed. He sips from his mug and stares at you. After many seconds of this, you say, would it please you to be a trifle more specific? The rings, for starters. As I said, the inner ring is for nobility. You better be highborn or have legitimate business with them to walk around in there. Or they stick your head on a pike along the wall, says Rum. The wall of the outer ring, mind you. The stench will not do for the nobles, which brings me to the outer ring. That's where most humans in this city live, and it's not the sort of place for a stranger with no friends to stay. Cut your throat for a copper, says Rum. Do not think you're safe in the middle ring either, says Thalmor. Take those 2, for instance, he says, pointing at the 2 young women at the table. Do not be trying to get into those petticoats, or your severed head will be on the wall by sunset. They're wed to men who think they are important, but more importantly, other men think them important. Very well, I will not speak to them, you say. I did not say that. I said do not try to get into their petticoats. More to the point, do not succeed. Success is straight out, says Rum. Have others succeeded? How should I know, says Thalmor. Well, then how would you know that... For banter's sake, I've lived around your people longer than you, Thalmor scolds. I know how humans are. You fight and die over the tall and skinny ones, says Rum. Ha! Nonsense! He slaps the table. I like Rum. Oh, but that pair likes to talk, says Thalmor, and they enjoy a compliment or two. That red one likes to hear herself sing. I saw a boy, might have been a girl, who could tell. I saw a boy tell her she had a fine voice, and she kissed him on his cheek. Boy got a look that was as stupid as an iron ingot. Happy, I suppose. Humans always look as stupid as an ingot, says Rum. The 2 dwarves clink mugs and drink deep. And there is another one to beware of, says Thalmor, wiping his mouth and then pointing at the lone woman in the dark cloak. That one is always looking for fools to go with her on some fool errand or another. Wants to strike it rich, not by digging in the ground as an honest dwarf would, you see, No, she wants to slay monsters for the Duke or some other dangerous foolishness, you can be sure. So she's an adventurer, you ask. Is that what you humans call them? Asked Thulmar. To us, it is plain what they are, fools. The two dwarves clink mugs again and drink deep. Us dwarves are short in stature but long in life, says Thulmar, taking another drink. Humans are on the other end, tall in stature and short in life, much more suited to perishing on some fool quest. Ah! Rum slaps the table. You'll be dead soon anyways. You know that the dwarves can be as bloodthirsty and reckless as any human, particularly when gold is at stake. The High Mountain Wars are a fine example. You can call the dwarves on this or let it slide. I'm going to call them on it. Increase my morale by 1. I have heard tale of the High Mountain Wars. The dwarves spill blood for their king, you said. Not for a king, for a family, says Thulmar. It was for gold, you say flatly. It was sparked by a small mining claim dispute, a war that lasted a century, I seem to recall. It was for honor, shouts Thulmar. What does a child like you know about a war long past? It is a tale well known, you say. Enough, says Thulmar. Go back to your kind. He nods towards the miners. The blond one is looking up from his cards, grinning at you. Fool indeed, you think. Fool to speak of politics with a stranger. Catch the eye of one of the young women who had been seated since you came in. The redhead refocuses on the woman across from her, but you figure there's no harm in being friendly on your first day in town. Probably. How do you approach them? Of course, you could just introduce yourself, but they're in the middle of a conversation. You need something to interject with. You could make up an excuse based on the fact that you're new to the city. Maybe they know a good butcher. No. Not the sort of question for a pair of richly dressed and bejeweled women. A recommendation for a good theater. You snuck into a few plays in your younger years and found them enjoyable. Alternatively, you could pay one of them a compliment. Let's ask about a theater. Ooh, they are pretty cute. Nice little painting there. Drawing, painting, whichever it is. The women are seated at a table on a raised platform, perhaps normally used as a stage for musicians. And though you are normally comfortable speaking to women, you can't help but feel a tinge of intimidation as you approach them from below. You step up onto the platform. The redhead smiles faintly at you. The other, a brunette, watches you with curiosity. Pardon me, ladies. I am new to the city and I wish to find a good theater. Have you any recommendations? The brunette's eyes widen. She gasps as though she had been punched in the stomach. Then she whispers to her friend as though you aren't there. Not what I expected. The redhead shakes her head slightly at her companion and then returns her attention to you. There are 2 theaters in the middle ring, Bard's Tale and the Dog's Snout. If you like the classics, then Bard's Tale. If you want comedy, well, then you have the other. What is your favorite play, stranger? Asked the brunette with an easy smile. You could be honest and tell her you do not yet have one, but wish to. Another option would be to lie. You've heard there's a new play out called Drella's Vengeance that is gathering critical acclaim throughout the kingdom. However, if you pretend you have seen it, will they test you? Let's be honest. I have not a favorite yet, but I look forward to selecting one. Realizing inexperience makes you appear naive and trustworthy, you take a deep breath and add, I have not been to too many plays. The Giant and the Wolf and A Dragon Squeezes the Bellows are all I have seen. Those are children's plays, the brunette snorts. Redhead gives her a quick glare. You smile humbly. They were a joy to me at the time. The redhead smiles indulgently, as did I when I was a little girl. I particularly enjoyed A Dragon Squeezes the Bellows. Yes, you exclaim, and you laugh. As I remember it, the dragon flew around, accidentally poisoning the farmer's cattle by releasing... I'd forgotten, she interrupts, covering her suddenly crimson face with embarrassment. You chuckle. Oh, but the effects, she says between her fingers, her voice still as clear as a silver bell. Did they use real magic in your production? No, just wires and sulfur, you say in sudden disappointment. You never considered that you hadn't even seen A Dragon Squeezes the Bellows at its best. The brunette chimes in then. We didn't mention that the outer ring of this city has a theater, the final song. The redhead removes her hands from her face and straightens in her chair. Giving her companion a scowl, she says sharply, "Of course, we do not recommend it. Don't go anywhere in the outer ring unless you want to be robbed and beaten, especially in the evenings." "Of course," says the brunette. "I was just trying to think of all the theaters. There's also Highmark in the inner ring." The redhead frowns at her friend again. "Never mind that one," she instructs you, but you seem disinclined to elaborate. "Ruffians there too, you ask?" "No." Her cheeks redden again. It's only for... She's right, the brunette says. "You're probably not their sort." Then you remember what the dwarves explained about the inner ring and realize that she's belittling your social standing. It appears the redhead is the happy drunk and the brunette is the mean drunk. You could say something to that effect, or you could keep quiet. What do you do? Give them that feedback. Get some morale increase. Give them your most charming smile. Drink brings out the happiness in some, you say, pointing at the redhead, and the cruelty in others. You indicate the brunette. The brunette's jaw drops. "What did you say?" she asks with a tremor in her voice. The redhead throws back her head and laughs. "He speaks the truth. Wine brings out the meanness of your spirit." The brunette's eyes narrow at you. "I expect you do not know who my husband is, but you shall soon find out." She taps her wedding band as though it were a magical weapon. The redhead pats her hand. "Leave it be," she says. "A man can speak his mind." She looks at you and adds an edge to her voice. "Once. So what's this?" "It says it saves automatically. What does this do?" "It just gets rid of that." "How do I know when it's saved?" It's a good question. How do I know how long the story is? I don't know. Let's just continue going, I guess, for a while. Hard on my voice to read all this, I will tell you, but I'm making the sacrifice for you. "I am a Rohija, and this is Katrain." Whirling one finger in her fiery red hair, she asks, "And you are?" "They call me Dragon, you lie." "Dragon," Rohija repeats with a faint smile. "Well met." "Well met," chimes in Katrain half-heartedly. "It was kind what you did for Emmeline," says Rohija. "Who?" "The serving wench, Emmeline," says Rohija. "Oh, yes, of course," you reply. "Her little boy went under the wheel of a carriage a fortnight ago," says Rohija. "The coin will go to the healer, certainly," says Katrain. By their dress and jewelry, you would estimate these women have plenty coin of their own. You wonder how much they have given to Emmeline. Besides, it would be unwise to ask. You estimate that it's likely you could lift a trinket or two from these well-bred ladies without their notice. From their manner, you'd say they're conveniently dulled by the drink. Scan the other patrons, and more importantly, the inn staff. No one is paying you any mind at the moment. What do you do? "Oh yeah, we're going to do it. Attempt to pickpocket, yes." Lifting jewelry is difficult. You do not want to get caught for thievery on your first day in the city. Also, you don't even want them to suspect you later, since you will likely be staying in the city for a while, but the precariously loose bracelet on Rohija's wrist is calling to you. It's probably only gold-plated. It would fetch several gold pieces, you suppose. She has many such bracelets on her, so you hope she will not miss it. As loose as the bracelet is, you will need some distraction or excuse to touch her. You try a magic trick? Pulling a coin from behind her ear, that sort of thing? You normally use it to amuse children, but these women may enjoy the diversion. Another option would be ask Rohija to sing. You have a decent voice yourself, and maybe that can lead to a little dancing and then an accidental touch or two. Finally, there's the old drunken fall routine. You're in the inn after all, and no one suspects you to be sober. What do? Damn it, we're going for a duet. "Would you mind singing for me?" you ask Rohija. "I would hear that lovely voice lifted in song." Rohija blushes deeply. I could not," she stammers. "Here?" "Yes," you say. "You would do us all an honor." You smile and nod towards the miners, although we may not deserve it. "That is a steep request for a stranger to make to a lady," says Katrain, twisting her lips. "But I would accompany her," you add hastily. Turning to Rohija, you say, "So if your voice were to falter, I would pull you up." "I really am not sure," Rohija stammers. "The new child sees her first horizon," you sing. It's a popular song that everyone in the kingdom grows up with. Although it is not officially endorsed by the king, it is a song about peace after all. "The new snow falls from the sky," Rohija joins in without missing a beat. Your voices meld together, and it's rather good if you do say so yourself. We rejoice the gods are sleeping, mortals left in peace by and by. It is not long before Katrine joins in, though she is doing little more than humming. Soon after that, the miners join in. You're not surprised, but now they are drunk enough. They do not add well to the medley. Rohija gets to her feet, her confidence growing. She smiles sweetly at you during a pause between verses. Even the cloaked woman in the corner begins singing softly towards the end of the song. When the song is done, the humans clap and the dwarves pound the bar with their fists. And we've got some gold. Another, my lady, you ask? Something merry, she says, flushed and beaming. Get your dog out of my bed. He has fleas, plus he's dead, you sing. The miners shout encouragement. No, not that, shouts Rahija. A proper drinking song. Oh, you start. I know a maid who loves her ale. She thought it me, but it was my dog's tail. Rohija laughs and shakes her head. She lunges toward you, putting her finger up to your lips. How about Tasha's bottomless barrel, you shout. Huzzah, shouts the blonde miner Lendar. The dwarves pound the bar. There are no dogs in that one, says Rahija. You and Rahija start the song, and the entire inn joins in. Soon the two of you are dancing. You take her wrist and swing her round and round. The bracelet comes off her wrist like a whisper. With that business done, you're free to enjoy the rest of the song, belting out the bawdy, ridiculous lyrics and dancing with Rahija. You even try to switch partners and dance with Katrine. She pushes you away, but not before you get a proper laugh out of her. The miners shout for more, but Rahija holds up her hand. The women take their seats again. You ladies mind if I sit for a moment and ask you about your fair city, you ask. Katrine motions to a chair. Sit, but not too close. We are married women, and no city is too large for gossip. And you are more handsome than most, says Rahija, the sweet smile that makes your heart beat faster. Your smile widens as you bow. Katrine gives Rahija a hard look. Sorry. Turning a shade of red, Rahija stares down at the table. There are words you say and words you keep. She mutters this to herself as if she's very familiar with the admonishment. For her, wine muddles them together, says Katrine, shaking her head. What do? Stay gentlemanly. Wine does the same for me, you say, mustering your most kind voice and a polite smile. And I think that's all we're going to do, because this is supposed to be just a first look at this. This is entirely what it is. This is at first glance, and my look at D&D Adventures Rogue's Choice. As you can see, this is what the game appears to be. This is what it is. It is a choose-your-own-adventure style story in a fantasy setting where you play as a rogue, as a thief, and sleight of hand artist, etc. And who's apparently nicknamed Dragon? I don't know. So if you're interested in this game, check it out on Steam. It's not very expensive. I think it was only a couple dollars. And yeah, it was put out once again by Cold Coffee Studios and Delight Games, and it came out on Steam October 10th, 2022. Everybody from Miss Valley Gaming, I hope you enjoyed my look at this game. My name is Dread. We'll be covering many more games on our At First Sight part of this channel and doing many other things besides. I hope you take the time, if you like this, to leave a like. Consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell for notifications. Helps me out a lot. Helps you out if you want to see more stuff. And, of course, drop a comment down below. Love to hear from you. Don't forget, also, in the description down below, you'll find links to my other YouTube channels, my Twitch channel, my Discord. Love to have you join up. My name is Dread, and I'm out of here. Have yourselves a great night. Bye-bye.